Okay. And we are live on Facebook.
Okay.
So you should.
Let's see if I can share that.
All right. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
let's see.
Give people a few moments to come forward.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody.
How do you know when people are here?
Oh,
5, 6.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, they're starting to watch.
Okay. Let's see if I can share this on our page.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Oh. Hi, Elizabeth. All right. Hi, Paula.
Cheryl, they won't let me be in the video.
But he gets in the video anyways.
That's right.
That's right. So everybody, Facebook, YouTube, let me know if you can hear me, hear us well. Okay.
How do I see?
Can you like host a watch party maybe? So keep scrolling and you should take a little minute.
Oh, I'm under. Let's go back. That's fine.
See if my laptop is still unlocked.
It is.
Oh, here we
There
go.
we go.
Watch this start.
Thanks, David.
Oh, but it'll do my personal. Let's see if I do it with Artesprix.
There we go.
There we go. Nope, it's still my personal. I'll just have to share it. All right, done.
Hi guys, Sprite here, Condé Systems. I have a very special guest today, Ashley from Artesprix Markers.
Hello, everyone.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm very excited. We love the markers. You know, coloring is zen, and so I'm very excited about this. And I know that you know a lot more about this than I do. So
I'm really happy to be here and happy to share some tips and tricks with you guys.
great, awesome. So hi everybody. Hey Carol, Diana. All right. So I guess we can just get started. We're about 2.5 minutes in. Everybody's looking good. You guys can hear us pretty well. So yeah. So we're going to talk about our markers today. I know a lot of you out there have already tried them, have been playing with them. Maybe you've come by one of our trade show booths and played with them. You know, and it's just it's fun technology. It's exciting. You know, it's an easy way to get started in the sublimation industry, and yeah. So, and I know you have some pretty great stories about that too.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, and I'm constantly sharing different things that people are doing with our markers, you know, with their small businesses, what they're doing locally in their communities. So I'm really happy to share some of those things. So in the meantime, if I mention something and you're like, oh, I would love to see a picture of that, a lot of these are on our feed on our Instagram or Facebook. So please go like and follow us and check out our page, because a lot of the things that I'm referencing here today, you can see examples of those on our pages.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess you want to tell us a little bit about Artesprix to start off with?
Sure. So we came out with these markers last year. As most of you know, you color on regular copy paper, which I know for a lot of Condé customers, that was a va-voom moment, right? Copy paper, no sublimation paper. So you want to color on regular copy paper, you know, save that sublimation paper for when you need it. And then you can use a press and press it into, you know, the plethora of 1,000 items that Condé carries that have that special coating or have, you know, that polyester blend that allows our markers to work well with those items. So we're thrilled that you guys have so many things that people can choose from to make, you know, for those special occasions or for, you know, or for themselves.
Yeah. And, you know, what you said, special occasions, and these are really great for occasions of life and events like that. So a couple of events that are coming up soon, we have Easter, we have graduation, we have Mother's Day, you know, and those are all really big sellers. And it's really easy to get into that market with these. But there's also, you know, events that span across the year, you know, just like wine and paint parties, you know, church events, family reunions,
birthday parties.
Yeah. So, you know, I know we have a customer who is very active on our Facebook. Hey, Eddie, if you're watching, his wife, she does the wine and the paint parties, and so, you know, she charges an admission. They pay, you know, however much per head. They come in and they drink wine and they paint. She sublimates onto a mug or, you know, like a linen bag. Which, guys, this is so cute. And then, you know, the people get to leave. I mean, they have a good time, and then they get to have like a tangible piece that they can take home and display, and it's, you know, it's just really cute. So you know, ideas like that are great.
Right, and we are in, you know, it is 2019, that instantaneous, being able to take that home right then and there is a great thing, especially with kids. What's another great thing about our markers is there's no mess. A lot of the things with kids these days, you know, parents are like, oh no, you know, paint or things like that. So there's no mess. If they color on the paper and they're not thrilled with their project, you know, they didn't color on it, so they can say, oh, you know, don't cry, it's okay. You color whenever you're ready, that's the one we'll press. So there's a lot of different benefits to using these markers. So
yeah, and the other thing is that, so I was coloring all morning long, getting ready, you know, like we don't have enough samples, like we haven't colored everything here, but you know, still I had to color some stuff, and I mean, I had, you know, you get paint all over your hands, and I mean, I washed my hands and it came right off, so it's great.
Our markers are water based, so that actually gives you you know, the ability to do some things if you want to get a little fancy, as far as, you know, let's say you were to take the marker, you know, color on something acrylic, right? And then you could add a little water, maybe take like, you know, different things, you know, maybe use some blending. So there's all different sorts of things because they're water based that you can do with them.
And I have people ask me all the time, can you blend them? And yes, totally, you can definitely blend them. It's amazing. I mean, you know, let me show you guys. And I know most of you have probably seen this, but you know, you can see the shading in the artwork, which is pretty cool. You can see the different darkness and lightness. Yes, ma'am.
I colored that.
You did what? Oh, you did. That's right. Lindsay behind the camera. Lindsay colored this. She's very proud of it, as she should be. It looks great.
Very cute.
Very, very cute. But yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful thing. It really is. It's really fun. And as an artist, I absolutely love it. You know, it gives me a creative outlet. I mean, it's, like I said, it's very zen-like, so it's a lot of fun.
Well, and for so long, my buddy Jack, his Instagram name is @JackTArts, and his style is really different. He does a lot of like scribbly, but there's a rhyme and reason to it. It's really cool, and he's thrilled because now he can take his art that, you know, really before was simply, you know, hanging on a wall or something like that, and now he's doing like tote bags, and he's, you know, he's going to call it Jack T threads and do apparel. So yeah, there are a lot of people aside from you, great sublimation enthusiasts, moms, teachers, artists that, you know, can really get excited about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. You got me on the Jack T.
It's cool. You'll have to check it out. He's we love his stuff.
Oh, yeah, and this opens up an entire new dimension for people that are not very good at using design software. You know, maybe you're not the best at Corel Draw or Photoshop or Silhouette, and so, you know, this really gives you a dimension of being able to personalize an item, you know, with your heat press or even other options without having to, you know, be super knowledgeable about that software that is so expensive sometimes. And what are those other options?
So you can use a home iron. I say for a Saturday afternoon, small project, you and the kids, you know, that kind of thing. It's a great tool. You definitely want to keep your items small, like keychains and coasters and koozies, you know, something that fits on the plate of the home iron. You're going to want to make sure that steam feature's turned off, right? And then ideally, as your project gets bigger, your heat plate would get bigger. And I'm sure that's something that, you know, Condé, when they're going through the options of heat presses, you know, what are you using this for, kind of thing. So if you're doing small things, you know, at home, the home iron definitely works.
And we were talking about that earlier, and it's a viable option, so you can definitely use the iron, but you're not going to get the crispness and the richness that you would using that consistent heat and pressure, really.
Right. So we went to the National Art Education Association show last month, which was in Boston. We had a great time. The art teachers love the markers. And the biggest thing that they see him for is fundraising. So that was basically the line of conversation that day. They said, oh, can I use my home iron? And I said, of course, you can for small projects, but if you're going to turn this around and have the kids do dish towels or things like that, and then ideally charge someone for that, i.e. those parents, right? And then ideally that all goes back towards the school, win-win-win all around. Obviously you'd want to go ahead and use a heat press, so then that way you'd have a crisper, cleaner look, so then that way you could charge a premium for those handmade with love dish towels, for example.
Well, you said so teachers and students, and I know that you guys have recently been certified. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So for those of you who have purchased our markers, thank you so much. Some of you may have noticed that it does say 14 and up on the barrel, and that's because they're from our first manufacturer run. But since then, we have been approved for children 9 and up. So, and the reason for that is that's because of the heat element. You can't say, it's okay for this age for the first part of the project or for the second, versus the second half. So that's why it is 9 and up. And we actually have that child certification. If any of you wanted to look at that or needed to print that out because you were looking to get involved with your community or schools with kids and you needed to show somebody, that's available on our website, artesprix.com. And then you go to news and you can print out that news release, and it has all the information there about what testing we've passed and how we've been approved on different levels, and we've been approved for Europe as well, so we have that information for them.
Oh, that's great. That's big time.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about some success stories. So we talked about Eddie earlier and Eddie's wife and how great she's doing with the wine and paint parties, and then you had told me about a lady that had done a pretty interesting thing as well.
Yeah, so someone who we follow on Instagram, their Instagram name is Sublimation Jam. She took her mugs and markers and she headed on over to her son's school and got involved with their Cub Scouts and did mugs for Mother's Day. So it also works out well that mom's the same forward and backwards, and I think we'll touch on that later in this live. So yeah, she did it all right there. It was fun, quick, easy because she's in the industry. So I'm sure for her it was really simple, and the kids loved it. And she sent them home in a box, and she put her logo on the box. So then that way she was able to market her, her little sublimation business, and win-win-win all around. Great activity for the Cub Scouts, great gift for mom, great way for her to market, her business, and obviously a great product, the markers, yay, to go along with all the other great things. So that was one of that actually obviously just happened because, Mother's Day is around the corner. So that's actually on our feed maybe 2 posts ago, so you can see that just recently on our feed if you check that out.
Awesome. You have photos of it and everything?
Yeah, I have one photo. I regrammed her photo, and then if you actually head to her profile at Sublimation Jam on Instagram, she put, I think, 4 or 5 photos, and yeah, some really cute smiling faces there. So
awesome. That's cute. A couple other things. So I had a lady at a church event, and she used our oval acrylic, which we're going to press some acrylic ornaments here in a little bit, but she used our oval acrylic ornaments as an Easter egg and printed the kids out a little transfer, like a little Easter egg transfer, and they got to color them, and it had the church logo on it, and we'll talk about this a little bit more too, and because you do acrylic, you don't have to have anything mirrored, which is great because it's clear. And she said it was a big hit, and she got invited back to the church to do other events and things like that. We had talked about family reunions, and you said where you're from in Florida, they do a lot of rowing events.
Yes, so for those of you who don't know, Artesprix is so blessed to be located in sunny Sarasota, Florida. So we actually, they just opened up a world-renowned rowing facility, Nathan Benderson Park, and they have regattas there on the international level, national level, state level, high school level. It's really great. And they also do triathlons and things like that. And I saw that somebody had, he had a sublimation printer there, which I know that's like a big deal to move that. I'm, obviously learning, but he did have a sublimation printer. But if you didn't want to bring your printer, you could come up with stencils, pertaining to that event, whether it's a triathlon or a rowing regatta or, a 5K, if you will. And then you could have people come in and color that stencil in and then essentially create their own shirt.
Yeah, and you guys, if you've ever seen us at a trade show, that's almost what we do. We're not, sometimes I try to theme it to the city that we're going to. So if we're going to Vegas, I might do like poker chips and dice or something like that. But sometimes we're in like a random spot, and so it is what it is. But, I always try to do that, give them a stencil and let them color it in. Or, offer them a blank space for those, really artistic people among us. And so that normally just kind of looks like this. Let me show the camera. Oh, Lindsay's on control of the Zoom. So yeah, so normally I'll just offer someone, okay, let's talk about this. So I printed this on my SG800, which is a sawgrass printer with sawgrass inks. This is just regular copy paper. This is This is the template for our acrylic ornament, which is ACR 317, and so it fits in there. And this is going to give people the option to either draw whatever they want to, or they can color in the item that we've already done. And so this is really great. This is giving people, options. A lot of people are going to be intimidated by it. I know I am, and I do art for a living, and if I have to freehand something, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. So it's really great to have this. And if you print it with your sublimation printer, what happens is the black lines print out. So most of this stuff, like this coaster, you can see the black lines are actually sublimated with sublimation ink, and then the color is the sublimation marker. So really cute, works really, really well. But if you do not have a sublimation printer, we have another option for you. So a lot of our users here have Silhouette machines, and this is a really fun thing too, because you can design something in Silhouette, or you can actually just import a JPEG, and it will it will
draw
trace it,
mirror
with your marker.
Yeah, do it all for you, and then you can use all the other colors to color it in.
That's right.
And you guys have that gray adapter. The brand comes with like a set of 3, so you want to make sure you use the gray one with our markers.
Yeah, I have that box around here somewhere, but
oh, it's right here.
There we go. Yeah, I think we just got this off of Amazon, and this is just a little pack of. Actually, I'm going to walk up, Linz, because I know YouTube. They're like, we don't see it. So this is just the little caps that it comes with, and we used, just pop it out and show you guys. We used the gray one, so that's what fits on the markers, and it's just really easy to do. We actually have a video coming out very soon on how to, so I have David hidden down under here, and this, and really easy. This is a lot of fun. All of the things are great, but this is fun to watch it do.
Yeah. And back to what you were saying about, oh, I'm an art teacher, and it's funny because usually we always have things for people to choose from, right? But at NAEA, that National Art Education Association, we never heard, oh, I don't know what to draw.
Yeah.
Or I can't draw. Or that never happened. Where usually you hear that, every so often. But, we tell people if there's something like, because some of these shows that we go to are not sublimation, so we know that they don't have a printer. So we tell them if they find something online that they like, they can always print it out and trace it. And they're essentially cooking with the same gas. So.
Oh, of course. We love to do things live because that's when things mess up. And so I've actually had my marker open all morning long. And yeah. So it's just
since it's water-based.
Yeah. Just like any marker, it started to lose it. To lose some of the ink in it, but it came back to life.
But this is a great learning moment, as lives tend to be, right?
Exactly. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but it almost says Ashley. I was going to be cute there and let her color her name in. But what I've done here is I've mirrored the words. So she could take, for instance, our cuff bracelet and, you know, color her name in, put it on the cuff bracelet, and then boom, you have your name written the correct way on this opaque substrate. Now, we were talking earlier about Sharpies, and you told me some really fun stuff that you can do with the Sharpies.
Yes. So Sharpies, pencils, pens, as you know, everything but our markers doesn't transfer. So you can essentially, if you want to write your name, you could write your name forwards with Sharpie and then flip that paper over and then do all Artesprix on the other side, and then that's the side that you press into your substrate or your blank because Sharpie doesn't transfer.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And it's also great because, you know, before when you were creating, you had to go back and like erase little lines like with the pencil or thing like that. Now that's no longer the case. You don't have to go back and make it, you know, perfect. And then if you do have a boo-boo with your Artesprix markers, you can always cover it up with heat transfer tape or something like that, and then that way, or you can like sometimes we cut it out and, you know, cut out your little boo-boo or something like that, so just in case you, just a little tidbit. So
so Eddie, hey Eddie, I was talking about you and your wife earlier. Eddie has a question. Is there a shelf life on the markers?
So essentially, if you were to take a marker and draw a straight line, you could go over 4 football fields as a you know, rule of thumb as far as like a distance, as you know, that kind of thing. And then as far as a shelf life, this actually goes back to our little hiccup here as far as storage and things like that. You're going to want to store the markers horizontally. They are water based. So you're going to want to keep that lid, or excuse me, that cap on. You're going to want not store them like in a shed, right, outside. You want to keep them in a temperature controlled environment. And when in use, you want to put them tipped down. I like to think of them as an hourglass, you know, and then when they're not in use, you want to put them horizontal. But to answer your question about a shelf life, we did have those tested in a lab, and the shelf life on them is 2 years, but I have a feeling if they're stored correctly, because they're water-based, so on and so forth, if you know, you keep good care of them. In 2 years, I'll be saying 4 years. In 4 years, I'll be saying 6 years, and so on and so forth. So
Eddie asked again, once you color something, how long can you store the image before you press it?
That's
a great question.
Yeah, you can. It'll stay. So you know, sublimation, right? It's considered a solid when it's like this, or it is a solid. So yeah, it'll stay just like this, and then you can press it. I mean, we've only had these for a year, so I mean, there are things that we keep around and we press every so often, and everything looks great. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, normally we tell you guys to press something, you know, pretty quickly after you print it. So, you know, I mean, you can store it, you know, for instance, I guess if you were going to do something off-site and then bring it back and press it for some reason, you know, that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't want to push your luck too much, but, you know, it's just like regular sublimation. Just store it, you know, don't let any moisture get to it, and I think you should be fine. So, yeah.
Can you use black? Why only gray?
Okay. So, so it is black.
Oh yeah, it's black.
It's black. It just the marker has been open since 9 o'clock this morning.
If I was here this morning, that wouldn't have happened. No, I'm just joking.
It probably would have anyways. But no, so it just kind of dried out. But the great thing about this, and I'm actually kind of glad that this happened, is because it dried out. But then once we started coloring with it, once the machine started coloring with it, the color came back. And so yeah, this is a nice, I mean, it is a nice rich black. And you know, we've looked at different markers in the past, and we never went with anything because of the color quality. And I have to say, the color quality on this stuff is, I mean, it's exceptional. It really is. You know, these colors just pop. And this is all 10 colors that come in the pack. I mean, just look at that. Look at how pretty that is. What? And it adds another level. You know, this is something, this paint effect, for lack of a better word, is a hard thing to do on a graphic software. And, you know, this is like I said, this is a great dimension to add to your already existing product line. Or, you know, just it's a great thing to get into because it is so easy. And we're going to show you how easy it is. So I have printed out some designs, and we've started coloring them, and we're going to continue to color them. And while we continue to color, let's talk about some other stuff. So we talked about mirroring your image, right? So most of you guys that do sublimation, you know, if you're going to print to something that you cannot see through, like you know, like this tote bag or this coaster, that you need to mirror your image. Well, if you're doing it on, you know, something clear like glass or acrylic, then you keep that, you know, it's going to go straight through, and you just keep it right reading.
Right.
So, you know, that's about it on that one.
Well, I mentioned the Sharpie earlier. That's a little trick. Another trick is you could always use a window.
Yeah.
Okay. If you didn't have a Sharpie, you could do pencil. You know, obviously Sharpie is great because you can see it. You know, obviously because it's thicker. But then if you only have a pencil, you could put that up to the window, flip it over, trace it that way. And then for those of you who might, you know, be taking that art stuff to another level, if you have a light box, then that's essentially what those are for.
What is the paper that you used when printing with the Cameo? So Elaine, it's just regular copy paper, just regular old copy paper. So we don't recommend sublimation paper because sublimation paper is coated, and that coating can shorten the life of your markers. And I would love to know whose job it was to run across 4 football fields with markers. That's my favorite thing to say when people ask me, how long do the markers last? And I'm like, 4 football fields.
4 football fields. Yeah. No, I think the way it was done was in a lab,
Yeah,
and then they gave us a distance, and then we translated that distance into a way that was just easy for people to visualize.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I can see it in my head, you know, like how it actually
4
went.
football fields?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to start and just start running.
4.
Is there a timeline for release of new colors?
Ooh,
good question.
So the question is there a timeline for release on new colors? They can't hear
Oh,
Lynn's.
sorry. Yes,
That's
that was the question. We have developed more colors. As far as how and when those are rolling out, I don't have that information.
What?
But we, as far as the behind the scenes, you know, we do have that prepared.
You guys work like we work. It's like, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. So
We'll let you know when it gets here.
yes.
So one of the things I didn't know that Ashley cued me in on is, and I know we talked about it, but storing the markers down, and duh, right? I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because the ink is viscous and it's going to, you know, settle to the bottom, and I never thought about that. So guys, keep that in mind because I haven't been telling you to do that.
Right. And then when you're done, you're going to want to put them back horizontally, right? So then that way, you know, because you don't want the next time you go to use them for it to be saturated, if you will. So
Oh, look at you, girl, coming out with the tips and the tricks.
tips
That's
and
what's
tricks.
up.
Tips
Okay.
and tricks.
Is it hard to color on ceramic or will it smear?
So you with our markers, they're not intended to be colored on the substrate or the blank. They're only intended to be colored on copy paper. But I know through talking with Sprite that there are some things that Condé, you know, has been playing around with, if you will, because that mirror aspect does apply. So I know that they've been playing around with some things to see if it would work. You don't get as crisp a clear of an image, but there's plenty things on the market today that aren't used the way they were intended. So if that's something that works for you and you're okay with it not being as clean and crisp, I mean, it's kind of like the home iron thing, right?
Yeah, but great question. Let me show you some examples. So this is one of the things I was coloring today. Oh, and this is a great segue into, we have a new product that just came in today. We actually have 3 new products that just came in today. So real quick, let's just touch on these. So this is brand new. We've never offered anything like this. These are air fresheners. So they're little felt, there we go. Thanks, Linz. We're little felt air fresheners. We have 3 different shapes. So this round one is FAF 31. They come on a sheet, and it's 8 to a sheet, and they come with the bags and the strings. Now these are unscented. You press them, then you would add the essential oil later. So this is FAF 31. This is the round. We have FAF 32. This is square. And then I'm going.
So cool. Who thinks of this stuff?
I do.
Really? It was like, we need.
Like a bag tag or a Christmas ornament?
That's correct. And then on the third size, or the third shape, excuse me, is the FAF 33. So this is the rectangle. So yeah, so these are air fresheners. We're marketing these as air fresheners, but they would also be great as, you know, like a cheap fundraiser ornament or, you know, a keychain or something like that. So, but what I did was I drew directly on the felt because I wanted to see how it transferred. And this one looked pretty good. So this is me drawing directly onto the felt. And then this was me drawing onto the paper and then sublimating onto the felt. So you can totally see the difference. I mean, it's a big difference. One of them is much crisper, much clearer than the other one, but they both look good. So, you know, it's how you want to play it. I also did this on these sandstone coasters because the sandstone coasters are porous, and so it does make a good surface to absorb some of that ink. But you can see it kind of made a neat little effect. So this is the one I drew on, and this is the one I transferred to. So you can see that the difference in the crispness and the sharpness.
It almost bleeds a little bit.
It does, which is kind of a cool effect.
If that's what you're going for.
If that's what you're going for, right,
and
exactly.
And that's what's so cool about it. This is art, right?
Exactly.
What might work for you might not be somebody else's cup of tea, so.
But that's okay.
That's what art is all about.
So Nola, no, the air fresheners do not have a smell. But
that's a good thing.
It really is. Oh, it really is, because in testing this product, we got some in that were scented, and you don't want to press something that has a scent to it.
Yeah.
Imagine neoprene times 20.
Oh,
Lindsay's like,
dun, dun, dun.
Okay, let's get to the fun part. My favorite part of the show. Let's press some stuff. So Ashley has beautifully colored this stencil that we had, that I had printed on my SG800 with Sawgrass inks. I'm going to use this acrylic ornament, which is ACR 317. So we're just going to tape it down. Now I am using heat-resistant tape. We sell this here at Condé, for those of you guys that don't know. I know I have a lot of your customers watching today, so hi, I'm Sprite.
Yes, thanks for tuning in. So
we have a lot of fun.
Like Sprite said, this is special tape that won't melt, and when for the acrylic, this doesn't really apply, but if you want to make sure that when you're taping it, you want to tape around your image, not on it, because think about it, if it's heat-resistant tape and you need heat to create the project, then you want it to be on the outside, around your design, not over it, if that makes any sense.
Let's see. So if I were to cut my design down, yeah, right, yeah,
exactly.
Okay, yes.
So I always say when you're cutting it down, you know, for people who are about to do this project, sometimes they take the scissors and they go like right around the circle, and I'm like, that's not necessary. Just actually, if you cut like around it, give yourself a little bit of piece of paper, you know, width to work with when you're taping things down, and it'll make things easier.
Yeah. So, and normally, you guys know, I tape it like this. So, I have a nice, you know, secure. My transfer is secure. My artwork is secure. My substrate is secure. There we go. That sound means we're done.
I can't wait to see my creation.
So I'm going to use my heat gloves because it should be a little warm. 400 degrees.
Wow, it's so much more bright.
I know. And that's the other thing, is that, you know, the markers look a little dull when they're on the paper. And that's just like sublimation. We'll show you guys in just a second when it cools down. Just like sublimation on your printer, you know, the inks look dulled on the paper, but what brings them out is the heat. If they're heat-activated inks, same thing with the markers.
We say that's the magic.
It is the magic. That's what David says.
Is it?
David says the magic of sublimation.
Oh my gosh.
He needs to stop influencing people.
Yeah, that's our slogan, is have you seen the magic? That's so funny.
That's right, it is.
That's so funny.
It makes sense now. Oh gosh. Okay. So I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm actually going to use a different adhesive method. So we here at Condé sell a spray adhesive, because I don't know if you saw, but when I taped this, because it is a neoprene substrate. Well, the tape doesn't really stick to it.
Oh, right.
So, I mean, it's just not really sticking to it.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this spray adhesive. I'm going to spray my paper, and then it's going to stick to that. So So we just do a quick little spritz.
I'm very interested to see how this turns out. I've never seen this.
It's already sticky. Just a quick little spritz. I'm going to stick it on there, and we're going to press this just like we did the other ones. So we're pressing both of these at 400 degrees for 60 seconds with, a light to medium pressure. So what's the item number for the fresheners? Can you link him to those? Oh, we don't have them up, do we? Do we? Ah, sorry, I jumped the gun. They will be up tomorrow. So tomorrow they will be up. But I can tell you the item numbers. Let's see. What do I got here? Yeah, we just got these in first thing this morning and went through them, and you guys are the very first to know about these. So FAF33 is the rectangular, FAF32 is the square, and FAF31 is the round. So they will be up tomorrow. They'll be up on the website tomorrow.
And essential oils are so big right now.
I know, and that's, and I had we had a lot of thought put, FAF 31, 32, and 33. We had a lot of thought into, whether or not we should offer the essential oils. And, legitimately, you can go to the dollar store and get essential oils now. So they are everywhere.
Yeah, very popular.
Hey,
oh, wow.
Yours looks better than mine. Yeah. All right, so here's our finished products.
I think we do have some of this. Now that I look at it, I think we do have some of this in the lab.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to use it now that
it's great.
Seen it.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to do. All right, so
wow, it's so pretty.
It's a little warm, but it's not too hot.
Okay, I think it feels good.
Yeah, I do too. I know. My fingers are like, they have no feeling
so
left.
bright. That pink looks great.
I know. Like I said, the colors are they're just fabulous. I mean, it's really great, and it works so well on all of our substrates. So Nikki asked the pressing times. So yes, Nikki. So the pressing time, you're gonna use the markers just like you would use your sublimation ink from your printer. So if you're pressing hardboard, it's going to be the instructions for hardboard. If you're pressing sandstone, it's going to be the instructions for sandstone.
To continue on with Sprite saying, for those of you who are tuning in from the Artesprix page, every substrate or blank comes with its own set of instructions, and we'll have that for time, temperature, and pressure.
That is correct.
So just keep that in mind. And if let's say you got a pot holder from, somewhere, Condé has, their website is full of great information, and so you can always reference them for different times and temps.
Yeah, and these are sublimation markers, and so sublimation is a specific process that has to work with a specific coating. So these are specifically designed products. It's an inorganic material that soaks up the ink. So you're not going to be able to go to the dollar store and buy a blank mug or a blank keychain and do this. This is something, this is product specific, but it is still, it's a fantastic tool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, the only things that you'll find, again, for those of you tuning in from the Artesprix page, the only things that you'll find, on a Saturday afternoon during your errands are going to be a fabric. Everything that you see that's hard surface goods, luggage tags, mugs, frames, everything that you see here on set has a special coating that allows the dye to be permanently applied.
And that's a great point. She used the word permanent, scrape, and the color is still going to be there, up to a point. It is soaking into the substrate. It's not like a like a UV print, or it's not just sitting on the surface. It is subsurface decorating. It is a permanent thing. Now, with that being said, there are a few instances where it may fade, and that may be keeping it out in the sun for too long. Ultraviolet rays will fade sublimation. The other thing that may make it fade is exposure to high temperatures. So anything over 400 degrees, it's going to start to sublimate, and so the colors are going to come out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's heat activated and it's in the sun, it's cooking just like it's cooking underneath the press.
Yeah. So, like a lot of the linen products, like our linen apron or our linen totes, our our linen pot holder and oven mitt, they they get dirty, and you can wash them, and that's great. But just wash them on a cold cycle just to be safe. I mean, your water temperature is not going to get probably so hot where you start to lose ink.
Right.
But
if you
just
can,
be safe.
yeah. If you have that option, better to be safe.
That's
than
right.
sorry,
Better to
so.
be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I won't get into, I know you said, David likes to get into the chemistry, right? And we are a bunch of chemists over at Artesprix. So, but the way we like to explain it is it starts out as a solid when you colored it in the paper, and then you're trapping all the gases when you're pressing. So that's why, some people ask me, oh, well, can I use a heat gun? Right? And the answer is no, because pressure is a factor, right? We're trapping all of the color, if you will, right in here, and it's going up as a gas and coming back down as a gas into a solid, and that's why it's permanent.
Yeah.
So I don't know if David's is that long or if that's
Actually,
short.
his is a little more involved.
That's my
molecules opening.
Yeah.
And, it's fascinating though. It is. It really is. So here, I always joke. I say, well, we're a bunch of engineers and we're a bunch of artists, and so that's probably what you guys are too, right?
We're chemists. Yeah. We're a bunch of a lot of science, backgrounds and things like that at Artesprix. So
it's funny at Condé. It's an interesting mix of people. You have your engineers, and then you have me.
That's what makes a good team, though.
Yeah, it does, and we all work together, as you guys know. So Eddie asked, are the air fresheners on the website? Not yet, Eddie. They'll be there tomorrow. I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
Look how excited everybody is about the air fresheners.
I know. I get it.
Well, and that's what's so cool, I will say, about Condé is you guys have such diverse substrates, right?
Yeah.
Different, right?
Yeah.
Not like your average sublimation company substrates.
Right.
So that's why I think it's so cool, like for ice pop holders, right?
Yeah.
Like for kids, we just think that's so cool. So we love, working with you guys and sending people to your website whenever they're like, wow, that's so cool. Oh, that's from Condé.
Well, and one of the ways that we are able to do that is because a lot of these things we actually manufacture ourselves. So, a lot of the glass and the acrylic, like you just did, that's all, we make that, we coat that here in the United States. I mean, that's our branded, we have a patent on that.
Right.
Our glass is the same way. And so, we're innovators. I mean, we really are. And it's so much fun. That's why when you guys came out with the markers, we were like, yes, that is cool. Because, and I'm sure if you've spent any time with David, and David, if you're watching, I love you. If you've spent any time with David, he's told you his joke that he has said for 20 years, that one day he's going to invent a sublimation marker and he's going to put it in a glass box, and the glass box is going to say, in case of printer emergency, break glass.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Because that's why these exist, because, we've seen that meme, don't print anything last minute because printers can smell fear. So that's kind of why these came about. Was we love printers. They allow us to create wonderful, wonderful things. But they're not 100%, right?
Yeah.
Just like anything else in life, they're 100% all the time. So when they were having a 99% moment, we came up with the marker.
Yeah. Well, hey. That's what, when you're in a pinch,
right?
You're in a pinch. What you got to do.
And actually, it's funny bringing up pinch. You can use our markers for, let's say, there's a little hiccup, a little touch up, a little this, a little that. You can use our markers to do things like that when you're sublimating, for regular sublimation as well. It's just I've heard people use them for that.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about double sublimating. Because
you'll lose some color, right?
Yeah.
Right, like going back to what you were saying about being in the heat and things like that. It makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe.
Be careful.
Maybe. We'll see. Will you guys let me know? All right. I wanted to do one more quick little example of a way to do these because you guys know I love to show you how we do it. So I want to do one quick little thing, and then we're going to offer you guys a little something, and then we're going to call it a day. So I've got a cuff bracelet here, and like Ashley said, Mother's Day is coming up very quickly. So let's say you have no sublimation printer at all, right? You don't have a sublimation printer. You you know, you just have some substrates and you want some people to create some products. So I'm just going to take this, set it down on my paper. I'm going to take my pencil that I stole from Jerry. There you go. And I'm just going to trace around it, right? So I am creating a template with an invisible line that is not going to print, which I think is great, because how many of you have accidentally printed out the template lines?
And don't trace.
Me, I did it earlier.
Right, and don't trace with our markers. I've seen that done at shows, because then obviously the color, whatever you traced it with, will press into the, anyway.
Yeah. So we talked about not wanting to, not liking to draw freehand. Well, let's do it. Who cares? Especially live on Facebook. Hey, Mom, if you're watching, make you a cute little bracelet. This is going to be ridiculous, but I'm just going to show you guys how this can work.
It's going to look great.
My mom's going to love it. She loves everything I do. Don't you, Mom? She usually watches. So.
That's mother's love, right?
It is.
There you
All
go.
right. There we go. So we got Mom on there, just like that. Really quick, really easy. Just going to... Oh.
Need some tape?
Yes, ma'am. Give me 2 pieces of tape, please. So I'm just going to tape it down. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you put your bracelet over your pencil line, because that pencil line is not going to transfer.
Exactly.
So I've got it taped, and I'm just going to press this. Protective paper on the bottom, protective paper on the top. So we haven't talked about this yet, because I normally assume that everybody knows to protect your heat press. But if you have this heat press is not cheap, so you want to protect it. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I have dye residue from the 2 things that we printed on this these pieces of butcher paper. And if I didn't have that butcher paper there, that ink is going to transfer to the top or bottom of my press. And so when I go to press this, that ink could very possibly transfer back onto this. So always make sure that your top and bottom heat platen are protected.
You want to make a sublimation sandwich.
Have you been watching our videos?
A sublimation sandwich.
That's what it is. So we're going to press this image face down.
Right, substrate on the bottom side, color side on top.
There you go. For a minute, 400 degrees. Good heavy pressure. So let that go, and then I'm just, I had a great idea to make you a cuff bracelet.
A for effort.
Thanks. A for Ashley.
Oh, there you go.
What?
While we're waiting on that one story that I just didn't share, that I wanted to share because it was such a good idea, was somebody who is a user on Instagram. Their Instagram name is nomadic.graphics, and I believe that they travel, with a do-it-yourself type of workshop, right? And so what they did, I imagine that they're near Dolly World, right, for Dolly Parton, and then what they did was they printed up some type of stencil, right, mirrored, and then people created their own shirts like that they went to Dolly World, right?
That's great.
And they also did, one morning they did coffee and color. And so it was color, your own mug. And then I imagine that they had like coffee and things like that to serve. So I thought that was a great idea, coffee and color.
Oh man, the wheels in my brain are spinning. I've always wanted to live out of a van, and if I could like make money and live out of a van, like have a little sublimation set up in the back of a van.
Right.
Okay. That would be pretty cool.
She's going to love it.
Good. I don't know. It's either wow or it's Mom, or it's both. So I'm going to let this cool a little bit, and then we're going to bend it, and I'll show you guys how to bend it. And yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, so we want you guys to order these markers, and we want you guys to get started on this great technology, whether or not you have a sublimation printer. So in order to do that, we're going to be offering a special deal for you guys. So call your Condé rep. If you don't have a Condé rep, just give us a call. We'll assign one to you. Our Condé reps are client advocates, so they're really good about telling you, oh, well, if you're going to do this, you need this. Okay, well, you ordered this, but you're also going to need this. So, your client rep, establish a good relationship with them if you do not already have one. So if you guys call your rep, establish a rep, tell them you saw us here on Facebook. On your purchase of a box of markers, we are going to give you 2 free acrylic keychains. So this is item number ACR317. This is our 3-inch keychain, and actually this is an ornament. I'm sorry. So this one comes with a ribbon, but you could make it into a keychain. I mean, the keychain fobs are you just, you know, I think they're really cheap. You can get them online, maybe you know, Amazon or something. But either way, on your next purchase of a box of markers, which the markers are MARK10-PK, that's the item number for the markers, we'll give you 2 free 3-inch round ornaments. So a great way to get started, and you know, I think we're going to be working maybe on some marker bundles coming up soon.
Very
so
cool.
We'll have some fun stuff.
And what's great about, again, about these, that, you know, the mirror doesn't apply. And for those of you who are watching from our Facebook page, you know, who might not have a press, this is a perfect example of a great small project that you can easily get started with your home iron. It would fit, the, you know, the steam holes would be right up here. You would have this right towards the bottom, and you definitely get a good press right out of that, because you don't, you know, you can just keep it in one spot.
I know, and they're so, I mean, they're really, really cute. They're really cute. And these big keychains are, it's kind of everything right now. So these are really cute. All right, guys. So I've got my mother's beautiful bracelet. She's so proud of me. I have our little easy bender tool. I'm just going to stick one end in, bend it, and then flip it, stick the other end in, and bend it, and then that's it. And then,
Really cool.
yeah, and then you just put it on your wrist and kind of close it, and there you go. Yay,
Ta-da!
she's going to be so excited. I know. Thanks, Lindsay, for zooming in. Yes, listen, isn't it beautiful? So, all right, guys. That's all I got for you today.
Yeah,
Anything else?
No, I think we covered everything. I think did we answer everybody's questions?
Yeah, you guys have any questions for anybody?
And again, a lot of the things that we talked about today, examples, you know, I always share out things that people are doing with our markers, because obviously it makes me very happy, and you know, sharing the knowledge is a great thing, especially in your industry. I know that's that's very important. You know, tips and tricks and helping each other. So, like our page, follow us on Instagram, and Pinterest is also a great tool for our product. I don't know if you guys are on Pinterest, but we've got things divided up into how-tos and videos, and and speaking of how-to, if you have some questions that you come up with later, we have a frequently asked questions page. Actually, if you just go to artesprix.com/instructions, you can print it out. It's FAQs and instructions, and it's just nice, easy printable version for you guys to have.
Yeah, and we try to make it as easy as possible for you guys here at Condé. We're really big on the education. We're actually going to link that FAQ page to our markers, to our marker page on our site. So it's going to be really easy. We're really excited to be partnering with Artesprix. We are really excited to be carrying your marker line, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, ma'am, we have a question. Eddie.
How do you mix sublimation prints with the use of the marker?
So, like, this would be an example. So this is a stencil is the key word, right? So you're going to find something like this and use the sublimation ink in your printer to print this. And, this is a good example, but another, great thing about using your printer for something to color in is if you, for example, that example for Dolly World, she had printed it and it was mirrored. So that way it made it very, very easy for her guests and that were visiting her, do-it-yourself workshop. So this was printed out with sublimation ink, and then people can simply color it in, and then that sublimation ink will transfer just like as if it was drawn with the black marker. But if you can't draw a sparrow on top of a rose like this, very, very beautifully done, then that's what you can use your sublimation printer for.
That's right. And Eddie, so I did these on my SG800, 8.5 by 11 paper, so you can do it on an SG400 with copy paper. So just regular copy paper, no sublimation paper.
So popular right now, and especially because everybody can. You can make it your own. Like you can give two people the exact. Here you go, perfect. Like everybody can just get individual and get creative how they want to.
Yeah, be unique. That's it. So, all right, guys. Thanks, Eddie. I'll be sending you your stuff this week because I haven't done it yet, and I apologize, but I'm going to get it to you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in.
Ashley from Artesprix, Sprite from Condé.
Thank you.
Thanks
It was
so
a
much.
great time.
We'll see you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Cool.
I got YouTube going. All right.
Great.